Hello and welcome to Fin Business. We are in conversation with Mehjabeen from Muthoot Home Finance Company, and we will try to understand from her how the home finance market in India is doing right now. Mehjabeen, welcome on the show. In current scenario, when the digital is actually booming, many finance companies, specifically NBFCs or housing finance companies or any financial institute, cannot go ahead without digital. So when we look at digital, what kind of digital adoption housing finance companies are doing right now? What kind of evolvement or what kind of evolution are you seeing in housing finance companies right now in India?
When we talk, Amol, about digitization of the housing finance companies, and specifically the part where you said in India, is when you really look at something which is the Indian customer component before deciding on, okay, I need to deploy this product because this is the in-digital product for me. I am a technology person, but I always say that you need to start with strategy and you need to end it with technology. So whenever you are introducing any technology in your company or you are looking at digitizing stuff in your company or processes in your company, you really need to look at how is it going to align with the overall strategy of your company. So digitization is not just about introducing products. It transforms the entire way in a company does business. Financial industry is something which is based on information, which is nothing but data, which is nothing but digital. Unlike concrete products, which is the case for other industries. So the technical potential for automation in this industry is huge.
Yes.
And to make it work for you, to drive your business agenda is also huge. But the sense which needs to be applied here is where do I actually deploy it in my line of business? Whether I go about making all my processes intelligent at the same time doesn't work. In housing finance, when you take a look, especially talking about affordable housing finance, now the customer touch point is not something where I am looking at going gaga about digital. Okay, I might launch very pretty, very impressive ads on my website and nobody will come and see it because my segment is such which is looking for a 11 lakh, 12 lakh kind of a loan.
Yeah.
These are the people who are working really hard every day to earn their daily bread. For people like these to be able to visit a website and to be introduced to ads, this is something which is not happening. So this is a point where I need the human component very much. Right. But then look at the other aspects of my business. Okay, if we have to look at my sales force or my workforce, 50% of their time they are doing what? Juggling with data. Okay, so my agents are collecting product information, customer information, my underwriters are verifying that information. All this, if I can introduce sophisticated solutions for processing, collating, verification, just imagine I can just free up my resources for business development.
Yes.
So when we say digital in an industry like this, it is a huge aid. It is a huge enabler. Only if you put it at the right places where it can bring value to your business.
So it's an interesting point. So when you say that digital has to be used in key areas and you need to decide first where do you want to use that. So anybody who's going to buy a house, he will not go just to the builder's office, see the house and buy it. No, he will see hundreds of houses and perhaps will choose one. The same thing goes with the housing finance companies as well. He will choose like different companies who's offering him better loan and then he will go it. So when you look at it, the human interaction, which is a substantial factor while buying a loan, while buying a house and taking a loan, how do you actually enhance digital? How do you use digital in a meaningful way?
You have to find out that point where this is really going to bring value to you. Now, when my field is out there, my force is out there on the field, okay? When I am doing a PD or when I am doing a FI, the field investigation, before I'm actually deciding to give a loan to an XYZ customer, these are the points where maybe to assist my sales force, I can use something like digital. So now the home finance companies are, gradually they're hopping onto the bandwagon of introducing these mobile apps for credit, the mobile app for sales. If I can introduce a mobile app at this point where my data can be, I can click a picture, it immediately goes to my office where people can do the first level verification and I can have an immediate result in terms of whether I want to sanction a loan to a particular customer or not. So this is where it brings value because it cuts my TAT. There are more number of files that I can process in a month now and there is more amount of business that I can do.
If you could give me some more examples, and at Muthoot Finance, what kind of digital adoption have you done, and whether it has helped you to reduce the turnaround time?
Let's take the recent example of demonetization wave that happened. In terms of collections, it was a very challenging time, not just for us, but for all the lending companies, because cash is a very important component in collection.
Absolutely.
Now, when that happened, we rolled out digital initiatives to help and facilitate our customers so that they can make their payments to us in time. So there was a iMobile app that we introduced for our customers, using which they can make payments to us. We launched a website which helped us get the payments online. We even introduced tutorials of how to use it on YouTube, so that people can go, they can check it out themselves, and go about making payments. And this was something which was adopted by the customers and used by them for making payments to us. So digital helped us during those times when it was difficult for us to get direct payments or cash payments from customers. Now, when the wave passed off, I mean, we can definitely see that the usage of those apps and modes of payments have also gone down.
Right.
But it did help us in a time when it was most needed.
Affordable housing is one area where Government of India is really keen on, and they are really given some exemptions as well. But when you look at the affordable housing, or even the housing market as such, specifically into tier 3, tier 4 cities, it's very difficult for finance companies to set up their shops over there, set up their offices over there, and they're batting on the digital. My question to you is, what kind of model do you think will work in those kind of areas?
In fact, the answer is pretty much hidden in your question.
Yes.
So when you said mobile phones, okay. Now India has, Indian population uses somewhere of the order of, I guess, 590 million mobile phones.
Right.
Okay, these are unique mobile phone users. And every time you would do something on your mobile phone, make a call, send an SMS, you do a top up on your prepaid, you browse the net, you are leaving digital footprints.
Yes.
Okay, which is something that can be used to bridge that huge funding gap which is there in the market. So India has got a huge SME funding gap if you look at it.
Yes.
Okay, and your traditional banks are reluctant to lend in that market. So here your small time lenders or your non-banking lending firms come into picture. Now, how do they make use of digital for doing this? So there are these innovative technologies which are now coming up, which basically utilizes these digital footprints to assess the risk-taking capability of a customer,
right,
and to assess that what is going to be the credit worthiness of a certain customer.
Right.
So you do a lot of things here. You do behavioral analytics. So you try, and there is something known as a psychometric assessment,
right,
which can be done, and there are tools available. Yeah. So you make customers take a certain test, which has got nothing to do with what product or service the customer is applying for, and it has just got a series of questions. And when the customer answers it, it gives you a score which tells you whether the person has the intent to pay.
Okay.
Whether he has the capability to pay or not is a very different thing, but whether the customer has an intent to pay.
Okay.
So this is an example of a psychometric assessment. Then you have data available basis which you can find out their risk-taking capability. So whether I have amount and what is the amount of risk that I am going to take on it. So using these factors and using these as a base, it becomes a lot easier to give small tickets, short-term credit to this population, and this is a huge population which require it. So this is where your digital comes in very handy for lending to a very huge underserved market in India.
So have you at Muthoot Finance adopted psychometric tests?
No, this is not something that we have used at Muthoot
but is
yet.
the industry using that?
The industry is pretty much getting onto there. So I was reading about it other day, and not an Indian example, but there is this mobile company by the name of Vodacom, which in Tanzania has launched an app which basically using a customer's mobile data churns out a credit score for that customer. So what basically it does is, if a customer has applied for a loan, it sends the customer a SMS or a link where it takes in approval from the customer that the phone data is going to be used for assessing their credit history. Now when they use the phone data, it's not just about how many calls you have made or how many SMSs you have sent. It takes into account a lot of other things. It takes into account your social footprints.
Right.
So what have been you doing on your social media? what is it that you browse on the internet, what is it that you go to. It assesses a lot of things and then it comes up with a score for the person and helps those companies lend. So these are the technologies that we are looking at investing in India, and I'm very sure that this is something which is going to be used. In fact, if you look at India, I'm not sure if you're aware of, but there is an application by the name of Credit Vidya that one of the NBFC has been using, and it uses email fraud APIs and APIs for FI, which basically does something on similar lines. So it goes through your emails and it tries to find out a risk assessment for the particular customer that you are trying to give a loan to. So this is not your regular traditional CIBIL scoring based strictly lending method. You are going a step beyond it and you are looking at areas where, well, I'm a person not with a bank account or a credit score, but yes, I have got certain databases which you can assess whether you wish to lend to me or not.
What are you going to do at Muthoot Finance going ahead in next 2 years? What kind of technology do you think you are going to adopt at your company, and what kind of technology the industry will adopt and it will help them to flourish?
So, affordable housing, like you said, is something which is right now gaining a lot of momentum. So, as a business, we know that there is a lot out there for us to go and do and make a lot of money and business sense for us. So, we specifically at Muthoot Home Finance, we are looking at launching mobile apps for our sales team. We are looking at launching mobiles app for our credit teams for doing their PDs, their FIs. We are also looking at launching mobile apps for our collections team. So where I don't really have to worry whether the money has reached the branch or not. As soon as it's collected via my app, it's hitting my servers and my LMS knows that the collection is being done. So I do a lot of things. I don't just cut TAT on my lending cycle. I also gain a lot of control when I do it, because that whole manual interaction that happens in between, I cut it. And when I gain a lot of control in the entire process, I actually free up a lot of my resources to concentrate on how better I can do my business on. Because the things are pretty much under my scanner as of now, and I know what is going where. So these are the avenues that we look at introducing digital for our line of business.
Thank you so much for sharing those insights in business. It was wonderful chatting with you. Thank you. And thank you so much for watching.